I'm Deuces from the Geekset Podcast.
I'm Ditch from the Geekset Podcast.
Hey, y'all.
And just like y'all, we are brothers.
Isn't it fun? It's regular family fun.
It is.
It is. So my brother Diggs is going to kick us off with the first question.
Yeah, so obviously this is a comedy, so I wanted to know, how did you guys balance staying true to the Southern Baptist church community without it being taken as a mockery?
Yeah, I think one, because we're in this kind of like spot where we both have love and reverence for parts of it, but also heavy critiques for parts of it, and so we kind of just naturally were able to bring that into the filmmaking. Yeah, and I also think there's just a lot about Southern Black megachurch culture that's inherently comical. It's inherently, you know what I mean? Like we didn't have to stretch for a lot of the funnier moments. I'm like, that's just how Black people are in church. Yeah, and it felt true. And the characters were not caricatures, which was important to us.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. As long as it's not caricatures, like then we can relate to it as Black folks, and in regards to that.
Yeah, sure.
So one of the things that I was super interested in, because you guys are sisters, and working as like writer, director, and as producer, were you guys able to capture the vision that both of you individually had with this film?
I think so. Yeah. I think our vision usually aligns. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't hard to be on the same page about that. And then also, we're teammates. So, and we always have each other's back. So like on set, we made sure that we got what we wanted one way or the other. Yeah. I mean, we're, even though I'm the only one on this film that wrote and directed it, we're so creatively entwined, and Adanne is such a creative producer that, she also helped shape the vision for this as well. So it's it was pretty easy to get pretty seamless. What we both wanted. Yeah.
No, I love that.
Honestly, just after that, what's next?
I mean, a couple of things. We have a couple of TV shows that hopefully will be greenlit pretty soon. They're in development. And we've already written our second feature. Yeah. So this one we wrote together. We wrote it together. So hoping to sell that soon.
Nice.
No, I love that. I love the brother. I mean, I love the sisterly connection. I love that you guys are intertwined. It makes for a great story and everything in regards to that.
One of the things that we do is that because we love blurred culture. We love to talk to people such as yourself, actors that are, excelling in amazing feats and in amazing ways. So with your role, I wanted to ask, like, how much of your own experience did you draw upon, like, preparation for your role as Keon Sumter?
Oh man, from my experiences with just being in church, talking to people from other churches and their experiences, I think it was easy to just tap in. I grew up in a church, so playing a pastor is innate, man. You've seen it all. You've been around, so it was easy. Yeah,
that's the one thing about Black culture is that we're so embedded in church culture, even if we're not heavily in church, because a lot of our roots come from there. So with that, and knowing how close to heart that is to our culture and to Black people, how important do you think it was to like portray a Southern Baptist like churches authentically and comedically without it being like a mockery or anything like?
Yeah, it's important because you don't want to do something that's like, bro, really, dude,
Right?
Yeah, because I mean, folks will come for you, bro. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, and I think for me, just being a Christian as well, you want to play it truly. These characters exist. They might not be every type of pastor that exists, but there is a pastor that could be like this, these characters that we're playing. So we did our job, man, and just bringing that flavor to the table.
No, definitely, because you didn't want to have a family member pull you by the ear or something. Like, hey,
yo,
this is how you gonna do us on screen.
For sure, yeah, man, yeah. Because folks will be coming the day after it drops, Yeah.
So for a role like this, and like you said, you grew up in the church, who was the first person that you kind of like told about like the premise of the, like, hey, I'm gonna be playing a pastor?
Oh, interestingly, you know, my family for sure. And then my prayer group folks. Yeah,
Oh.
prayer group ministry. I was like, yeah, so this is happening. What's up? This is happening, you know, and yeah, they were like, for real? I was like, yeah, you know, it's gonna be a different type of movie, but you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Yeah.
Was there anybody specifically that you was like, okay, I can't wait to hear their response to like when they see this movie?
Not anybody specifically, to be frank. I think people just trust that whatever I take on, I'm taking it for a good reason. So I don't really have anybody in my circle that thinks, oh man, there goes that guy. He gonna do something.
Right.
Nah. I think I kind of have a decent group around. So
awesome.
I'm good.
Awesome.
I'm safe.
It's good to have a tribe because, you know, it keeps you honest. It keeps you and it keeps you grounded. So knowing the mind of an actor and knowing like when you get a script and you read, you know, the character notes and everything like that, you have this vision, right? But then obviously as you go and as things can change, you know, it can kind of go off of that vision. So from the time that you first got introduced to the character that you're going to portray to what you did on screen, how close was it to what you envisioned as the creative that you are?
I want to say 70%.
Okay.
Because I came in with some thoughts, and then when we were on set, we just got some room to play some more.
Yeah.
And when you give me some room to play, it's like, oh yeah, okay, you about to sing? Let's go.
Right.
So man, it was nice just to have the opportunity to play a lot more, and I brought it, man. We did. It was nice, and I liked some of the outfits, man.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It helped bring the character out. Let's just say that.
Yeah, because I mean, and now correct me if I'm wrong, because you are a musician. Was this the first role that you got to really showcase that?
Not really. I mean, we weren't really singing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we did a little bit of singing. But not. I wouldn't say it was like, you know, American Idol.
Right.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, because you know, like, you know, there's certain cues and things about a musician that you know that just like, oh yeah, this is this. Like you can offer your expertise, you know, in a sense when they need that additional help.
Yeah. We did some of that. Unfortunately, you know, some of those didn't make the final cut, but I was waiting to hear some vocals.
Right.
Yeah. We did a little bit of that, and it was nice to be on set. But as a filmmaker, you never know how much of what is going to make the final piece.
So. Yeah. So the dynamic of Keon and Shakur was more modern versus, you know, Lee Curtis, and so it's like what is it like when you think about like the more modern plus, you know, what you're, you know, growing up as the, you know, the modern ones that we most likely are more accustomed to, you know, like showing that more modern community, what was the thought process into that
just being relatable, you know, to millennials, Gen Z, you know, I think it starts out with the way we talk, the way we're dressed, just the way we vibe, when preaching, not too harsh with it, you know, giving it like easing into it. So I think we brought that cool collect crew out there trying to preach the word of God.
Was there anything that you learned from this experience in this, as far as just like in general, like something that you're like, you know what, after this movie, I got this type of insight, or you know what, I look at this a little bit differently?
Oh man, I think after this movie, I just felt jump, you know, when it's in your spirit, if it's in your spirit, jump. But I'd say reading the script, I take like, as a pastor, right, pastors are always praying for everybody.
Yeah.
And things like that. But who's praying for your pastors? You know, because
Word.
leaders, man, you know, they're the ones who face the biggest temptations over time, you know, parents and all that. And leaders take care of everybody.
Yeah.
And I think this movie gave a perspective of, yo, pause a minute, man. Maybe once a week, once a month, the whole church needs to start praying for our pastors.
Yeah.
Because they face a lot of stuff that, you know, they need help to. Yeah.
Yeah. No. That's definitely a word, because, you know, they always say the strong friend who's checking on the strong friend, and the pastor, you know, that's the one thing about our community. They play a huge role, whether it's you're going through something financially, you're going through something mentally. So it's like, yeah, you got to have, you know, we put a lot on them, you know, we put a lot on them. And so it's, you know, it's definitely a good time to reflect and have that moment where you can say, you know what, let me make sure that I'm praying for the pastor, or I'm checking for them and everything like that. So, you know, to wrap up, man, you know, with this movie and everything, you know, most movies now have a think piece that's associated with it, right? You know, outside of thinking for the pastor, what conversation do you hope come from this movie?
Outside of that, I think, how do we look at church moving forward? You know, how do we look at church moving forward? I think a church is seen like it's a building. You know, it's a building that you go into to worship. Yeah. But church is here, bro. Oh, yeah. I am church. Yeah. You are church. So we are walking billboards for Christ. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the location. And so when you think it's the location, it's I need to be good in this location because I'm at church now. But I think it's wherever you go, bro, you carry that. You carry that weight.
Man. That's a deep word, man. Well, thank you, man. Thank you so much for your time. This is Geekset, the only podcast that blend hip hop culture and geek culture together. This has been the amazing Conphidance, and we appreciate you and all that you do. Make sure y'all go see Honk For Jesus, man.
Boom. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is gonna chronicle the ultimate comeback. Showtime. I'm still fly.
I just want to clarify some things before we get started. Every woman is not built for the great responsibility of being a first lady.
Pastor Lee Curtis Childs faces allegations of misconduct. His megachurch may never be the same.
Lee Curtis and we're gonna get to the other side.
You there? Yeah, with the big old microphone. Come in closer, son. You gonna see what all the fuss is about. Showtime.
What's up? Fresh is our turn, baby.
Lee Curtis is a talent, a star. Oh, boy.
We can edit around that, right? This is gonna chronicle the ultimate comeback. I'm Rocky up in this fight.
Rocky didn't win.
But he did win in Rocky 2. Lord, baby, how many times I gotta tell you, get past the first movie? That was all set up.
He is just so wrong. He needs someone to harness it all.
Oh, bless your heart. I'm sure plenty of the old congregation will come right on back through good old Wanda the Greater Pat's door. You have a blessed one.
Oh, my goodness. And you have a blessed...
I'm a sinner, but I'm no criminal.
We need you back in that pulpit so you can get me back on that stage.
You ain't really getting that many babes, baby.
Shake it for the Lord. Shake it for the Lord.
I said, get it for the Lord. In my house for the Lord.
All those folks out there who are gonna see this, I want them to know that I did what I was supposed to do.
I just don't see how that's possible.
All things are possible with God. That's Matthew 19:26.
Yes, it is.
So that's good. You can cut.
In theaters and streaming only on Peacock September 2nd.